Hi there people, I hope you have had a wonderful day. Tonight we are back looking at HCMC. HCMC is in the red again, and a lot of people are going to be looking at this as a very disappointing day. People buying into HCMC, trying to buy the dips, and of course the stock price is just constantly going down. I think the question now is arising, should you buy HCMC or actually should you be selling your shares? Well, I'm giving you all of my opinions on this video, and of course I'm going to be talking about the potential of this stock hitting $1, whether I believe it can happen, whether I believe it can't happen. All of that stuff is coming up in this short video, so do make sure to give it a like and subscribe, because we talk about HCMC pretty much every single day. We reflect on the motions that it does in the market and how it moves. So again, if you will enjoy that, do make sure to press that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, if you do want to support us financially, you can do that by pressing the YouTube join button. It is located down by the subscribe button, and each member is massively appreciated as you do help to fund the videos. So thank you for everything so far, guys, but let us now jump into this video. First, looking at how HCMC has been moving over the past few days. Just before we do fully begin the video, I know that at the beginning I did mention the price target potentially of $1 and how likely that is. Now I know at the moment that might not make a lot of sense, as people are going to just pause the video right now and go straight down to the comment section, talk about how it's never going to hit $1 because of this and that. Again, I'm going to be addressing all of that towards a later part of the video, so if you do want to hear my argument to it, make sure to do leave a like and subscribe, and of course watch all the way until the end. But yeah guys, today we are seeing another day in the red for HCMC. Again, a lot of volatility as we are constantly seeing around the share price, but ultimately the price is pushing lower. We opened up in the 0.0015 range, finishing now in the 0.0014 range, so we are down by about 13% from open. Once more, this comes in a red week. Now in the past 5 days we are down by around 12%, which isn't the largest decrease, but again, for people who had bought this one at the highs of around 0.005, they would have obviously lost quite a lot at the current moment. Now, a lot of people have been asking in the comment section, do I think now is the time to hold, or do I think now is the time to buy or sell? Well guys, here's my opinion on buying or selling HCMC at the moment. If you are buying HCMC, I think you do need to be quite aware of the risk which is in this investment at the moment. Of course, the potential upside is huge if we were to win the lawsuit, and again, the most important thing to note is this won't happen overnight. The lawsuit or the settlement, whatever we will reach, it is not going to happen overnight. I think this is the most important thing to remember. A lot of people who invested in HCMC, they just see this as a penny stock which is going to blow up on a specific date. Guys, I hate to break it to you, I really do, but HCMC, let's say for example it was to go to $1 or even higher than that, it isn't going to happen overnight, and that is the thing to remember. A lawsuit or a payout from that lawsuit or whatever we may be expecting is going to happen in a few weeks, a few months, or a few years. These things are not quick processes, and if it is going to happen at all, which is not guaranteed, obviously the investors who held it for the longest term are going to be rewarded in the more great way, in my personal opinion. But at the moment, HCMC has been dropping for some time now. I think if you are buying HCMC at the moment, again, you do have to be aware of the risk and be quite patient, because I think this one is going to be a hold for the next 12 months at least. Now, a lot of people are now thinking of taking losses with HCMC, potentially selling out the share. And guys, I think there is a lot of people actually who do, or at least should, sell the share. Now, I think this may sound a bit stupid to a lot of people, as people are going to be commenting once more, you know, that's an illogical thing to say. Well guys, here's my perspective on it. A lot of people who bought HCMC, like I have mentioned, they think they're going to get big profits overnight and they are scared to take losses. I think if that is where you're going with this one, that is fair enough, that is absolutely fine. There are stocks which you will like out there, but I think HCMC is just not the one for you. So I think if you have bought HCMC and if you are at a small loss, or at least if you just lost interest in the stock, perhaps it may be worth selling off if you aren't willing to wait for a rather long time, because the truth of it is, even if HCMC is going to rocket, it is not going to happen overnight, and people do need to be aware of that. So to a lot of people, it may be the perfect time to sell. Now, to a lot of other people, I think it may be the perfect time to buy. But if you are buying into it once more, you should be aware of the risk, you should be aware of the time period it will take, and again, you should be willing to accept losses. Guys, in my opinion, I think this one could drop as low as 0.0009, and I don't think that's too worrying at all in my opinion. I think if we are to reach that range, it is fine. Of course, so far, I have spoken about this before, no important news has come out about the company and the lawsuits. So far, looking on Pacer Monitor, all we have is dates. We have the date for the motion to dismiss. We also have the date for the motion to extend. But obviously, none of these dates have passed yet. And until these dates do pass, we just don't know what is going on. So ultimately, nothing has really happened in regards to the lawsuit at the moment. And that is what people do need to remember. So it is possible that people may be getting a bit frustrated and possibly keeping selling on their shares and sending the share price lower. In my opinion, that is not too concerning. I think that is what people do need to remember. So once more, if you are looking to buy it, I would expect even steeper losses. I think it's absolutely possible. Looking at the candlesticks, we can see that today is bringing us a bit lower, and I am not too worried about that. I've spoken about it before. I do own shares of HCMC. I own about 800,000 shares, and you know what, guys, I'm holding this one for the next 12 months or more, because I do think that long term the company's fundamentals are decent. I think if the company can keep expanding on their business model, we do have a bright future anyway, and that is another thing that people do need to remember, regardless of the lawsuit. But at the moment, obviously, and fair enough, a lot of people are looking towards the lawsuit. So, let's look at the latest revelations around the lawsuit. So, if you haven't watched our previous videos, basically, we had this motion to dismiss from Philip Morris. So, what I can tell about motion to dismiss, obviously, I'm not a law expert by any means, but a lot of companies, or a lot of parties rather, are going to do a motion to dismiss because it just makes sense. Of course, if they can dismiss a case, it's obviously a sensible thing to do. Now, a lot of cases, if they don't have an appropriate reason, this actually may be a failure to basically state a claim, and that's what we are seeing here. So subsequently, we just don't think this motion to dismiss may go through. So you have until the 22nd of March of 2021, obviously, for Philip Morris to state a reason. So we are waiting until that date. Now that date is going to be in the next week, so we are going to have our first bit of news then. The second date that we are looking to is on April the 16th. So of course Philip Morris and HCMC working together potentially, as they are looking to extend the amount of time that this is going to take out of court. So what this says to me is that potentially they could be working on something. Obviously it's not certain that is going to happen, but the fact they are potentially working on something because of this motion to extend outside of court is a good sign. Now, a lot of people have spoken about an acquisition from Philip Morris. Personally, I don't think that is going to happen. Again, it is not impossible. I am not ruling anything out on this lawsuit, but in my eyes, I'm just not too sure as to whether that is going to happen. And of course, we don't have anything to confirm that yet. So just remember, nothing is out there to confirm that. So even if it was going to happen, we don't have any news on that right now. And again, the most important date for me on this page is the 16th, because then we'll see what is actually going on between these two companies, hopefully. So at least around that time, if not sooner, we are going to hopefully have some good news, but nothing is guaranteed. So a good future potentially for HCMC. A lot of stuff is on the table, and we are looking at a lot of stuff going on within the next month, and that could be a further catalyst if we do have good news, if we get a payout or something like that. And of course, if we have bad news, if HCMC are to lose a lawsuit, I could see the share price potentially halving. And again, that is something that you need to be aware of if you are buying this stock, because people are thinking that it is going to be a guaranteed success. Guys, of course, the odds are in HCMC's favour, but still, it's not guaranteed to be a win for HCMC. Right, so I know I did a lot of talking in that segment. That was the first segment, talking about what we have been seeing. I know it was kind of like in a rant style, but I think it is important information, because a lot of people have been talking about HCMC being a dead stock, being a stock which has received too much attention, and it is just going to sit where it is at the time being. And yeah, guys, it is going to sit there for some time in my eyes, and that is not a bad thing, because as I have just mentioned, nothing has really gone on around that lawsuit, and that is what we need to remember. So now I've mentioned that, let's talk about the second topic for this video, of the potential of this share price hitting $1. Right, so this one is coming from MarketWatch. It tells us a quick overview about the company, but the most important thing for me is what we are reading down here about the number of shares outstanding and the public float. Well, first of all, let's just take the public float. Let's just say that the stock price was to hit $1 as of where it is right now. Well, if the stock price was to hit $1, it would make the company's net worth around 236 billion, because of course 236 billion shares, $236 billion. And of course, if you add on this extra 105 billion shares, you can see a similar story. Now, of course, comparing this to other companies in the same industry, we obviously have the big Philip Morris, and Philip Morris's market cap is still only around $141 billion. So yes, it is a large number, but obviously if HCMC was to win, it's not going to send it rocketing as of where the share structure is right now. So obviously, I'm not sure if you have realised or not, it would be in the company's best interest to sort this situation out in regards to the shares, because of course 200 plus billion shares as of where it stands right now is not good. So in my eyes, I think there are two things that the company can do to sort this out. The first thing that the company can do, in my opinion, is of course to do a reverse split. For example, we could do a 10-to-1 reverse split, meaning that each 10 shares that we have right now would be worth 1 share in the future. Now, ultimately, this could bring a lot of hype to the table, as people would see HCMC turning itself around, obviously upping its game, but ultimately, nothing would really come of that from an actual price point stand. I think that is important to note. So, of course, a lot of hype could be drawn into it, but from an actual 10-to-1 split, nothing significant would come out of that alone. Now, the second and most important thing in my eyes that they could do is look to do a share buyback. Now, of course, revenue for the company could be good this year. I think slowly but surely, without the lawsuit, they could still work on doing a share buyback anyway, and that would be fantastic. With the money from the lawsuit, they could easily do a share buyback as the price stands currently, reducing the amount of shares by half or probably more, hopefully a lot more than half actually, and furthermore, that could actually bring the amount of shares in circulation down, and that would also make each share potentially worth more in the future. I think this is what a lot of people are anticipating going forwards into the future. So that could be a big catalyst, but again, nothing confirmed. But recently, I think we are looking for either a reverse split or a share buyback. Again, share buyback will be the best for investors, I do believe, so we will have to see what happens for the company. So right now, a lot is on the table for HCMC, I do believe. I can see a lot of potential going forwards, and I definitely would consider this one a buy if you are patient. I think if it is going to go anywhere, which is not guaranteed, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen in the next 2 to 12 months. I think that is what we do need to remember. So if you do keep that at the forefront of your mind when buying HCMC, I think you will be fine. Of course, only buy what you are willing to lose, because once more, if the share price is to plummet, you do need to be aware that that is a possibility, and you do need to manage your risk appropriately subsequently. So yeah, if you were to buy, for example, $100 worth right now, your losses would obviously be locked in at $100, and who knows how high the profits could go. That's just my opinion though, so please do make sure to do your own research. Thank you for joining me for this quick one. I will see you again soon. Goodbye until then.